Frank, hold it steady. I'm going to put the star on the top of the tree.
Hold on, let me plug it in first.
Whoa! Watch the food, will you, Frank? I got an EDGEFINDER alert I want to look at.
I got you.
The food, Frank, not the charts.
Huh? Oh, yeah, sure thing. You didn't leave the keys in the spaceship, did you?
Yeah, I did. Why?
I think someone just stole it.
Oh, gosh. You know what? Whatever. That was kind of a last month thing anyways.
I think I just saw Santa walk past the window.
Frank, the food! You left the oven on!
I'll get it.
You're both here? I could have sworn I saw your ship fly by.
I don't want to talk about it.
It was Santa's sleigh. Jerome, so happy you could make it. How's your day been?
Just close the door.
This holiday season, give yourself the gift you know that you've been wanting. A funded trading account with FX2. FX2 allows you to earn real profits on a simulated account up to $200,000. To start, select any of their one-step evaluations. We know things can get pretty hectic during the holidays, but you can take your time with the evaluations because there's no time limit to complete them. And with FX2, once you pass, they'll even refund your evaluation fee during your first withdrawal. You can collect up to 85% of the profits that you gain on your account. You can buy a whole lot of presents with that kind of money. Get funded with FX2 today and find the most wonderful trades of the year.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another live stream. Well, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining me. And good to have a lot of the familiar faces. And shout out to Daniel in the chat. What's up, Dan? Good to see you in here. Dan, we'd love to have you on sometime if you ever, well, you know, I think we've got some open slots today. If you want to come on, to put you on the spot, you're welcome to join if you'd like to chat for a little bit. Anyways, guys, welcome back to the stream. If you're newer here, then make sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. We do this Monday through Friday, and there's a lot of markets to talk about with all this stuff going on here. Today we have ADP numbers that just moved, and actually we'll take a look at those now. So ADP, non-farm employment change, came out cooler than expected. Now, please note that ADP has been very, very off in terms of predicting NFP. Regardless, though, this is still yet another number following suit with JOLTS, which was cooler than expected earlier this week. This is another number that is cool on the labor statistics side. So in that respect, we would imagine that dollar would see some pressure. Let's see if that is in fact the case. And maybe a little bit, slight movement here, but it is possible that the market is kind of figuring out, hey, ADP has been so inaccurate at predicting or forecasting NFP that it is kind of moving, not too much. Regardless, though, there are some things that are moving that I want to take a look at. Gold is on the move here this morning. This is a 1-hour chart, guys. And what we can see here is that gold trading at 20.30 at this time. Very interesting start to the day. You can see the the gold market pushing off these lows. And I've been a little bit, to be completely honest with you guys, I've been a little bit confused with gold's price action recently. I took an attempt on the long side. I ended up taking a loss on that one. And so let me clarify what I'm talking about. So I tried to go long gold on a pullback to this area here. And unfortunately, I was too early and markets kept going, ended up stopping out on that. So for gold right now, what is the next step? Well, I think that there could be an opportunity. I am still bullish overall. Like, my only setups for me right now on gold are going to mirror what the EDGEFINDER has for me, which is going to be bullish setups. We'll let that load, take a look at it together. So again, what I'd say from a gold bullish perspective is, as we punch higher here this morning, question is, can we actually get a breakout potentially at this 2040 level? Breaks, retests, continuations. I actually like that. So maybe I'll watch for a lower time frame breakout, perhaps the 1-hour chart. If we can break through this level of resistance at like 2035, 2040, maybe that sets me up for a possible trade on gold. So yes, I am bullish on gold, but here's the thing. Just because I'm bullish on something does not mean that I just go outright buy it at this moment, because it is also possible that gold attempts to go higher here and then loses steam at 36, right? So I only am really interested in gold if we can actually get a meaningful breakout above this recent structure high that's been holding us down, right? So breakouts, retests, continuations, I'm definitely interested in that. Alternatively, I am also bullish on gold if it does give a deeper retracement to this 2000 mark that I've been talking about for the last few days. After the big pop on the Sunday open, I mentioned that I'd be interested in possibly going long first here at 2040. That did not work out. And at 2000 as well, I may be interested in taking another attempt. This one would be more of a swing trade, like a little bit longer term, because I'd probably widen my stop because there's not a clear, easy level to put my stop at. So I'd probably end up putting it, a bit of a ways away. So I'm watching gold for pullbacks here, or if momentum continues this morning, like I said, 1-hour chart, watching for a break of structure around 2037.5. So if we see that level breakout, that's a possible trade for me as well. Does that make sense? Are you guys bullish, bearish on gold? How are you feeling? Let's get a pulse check here in the audience. Let me know. Comment in the chat. Are you bullish? Are you bearish? Gold? What are you guys thinking? Meanwhile, I think indices are making a push here this morning, or trying to. Here's the 1-hour chart on S&P. Here's Dow, US 30, NAS. I overhyped that. It's not really making a push. It's kind of just staying flat still. Regardless, overall, I think we're in a decent spot with the indices. We've consolidated for a little while. I've pointed out, so I've been long S&P for a while. For like a while. I'm still in the trade. It just keeps consolidating. It's been a really boring like last week or so on the S&P 500. I have not done anything. I trailed my stop up below this market structure, but pretty much, guys, I would like to see this area pretty much hold. And if it doesn't, it's time to get out. Like this area right here has just been consolidating for like since last week. So it's been like 1 week of just consolidation. So what do you do in a period of consolidation like that? Well, for me and my strategy, the way I typically trade is I don't predict the end of a trend. I trail a stop as long as I possibly can. And what that ends up meaning is sometimes when the market has not, there's no new structure or break of structure, right? There's no breakouts of the highs. There's no failures at support, right? So a failure at support would get me out of this trade. I would take profits if we do trail into this. By the way, I just realized I need to adjust my stop loss on my second S&P trade, the VOO. So let me do that really quick before I forget to do it. So we are going approximately 1.29% below current price. So I'm just going to trail a stop really quick, guys. 1.29. Okay, so 414. We'll call it there. Trade, I need to set a sell stop. Let me make sure, let me check how many positions do I have on VOO, or how many, so 435. So 435. I apologize, guys. I just need to, I've been meaning to do, or I forgot to do this yesterday. I need to just update this. So I'm setting a sell stop 415.46 for my, what did I say? 485 stop. So I'm setting a stop loss essentially. Sell stop 485, 415.46. Oh, I'm gonna have to do that once the market opens up. I have some options trades open that are saying I can't set a stop at this time. We'll come back to that. Don't worry about it. It's again, it's my other half of the S&P 500 trade. I do also have some calls that I've sold against my VOO position. So yeah, I'm the Dr. Strange of SPX. I don't even know if that's good or bad. XAU USD. Let's keep an eye on that gold move this morning. So I mentioned for gold, guys, what I'm looking for, just to repeat myself for those of you guys who were here, looking for price breakouts here. So if we get a break up into like the 2040s, I'd be interested in going long. And if we get a deeper pullback off the daily chart to this 2000 round number play, I'm also interested at that level as well. So guys, real quick, if you have a chart request, UJ, please, let's take a look. We'll take a look at USDJPY. If you have a chart request, please feel free to share it in the chat. I can't promise I'll get to all of them, but I will try and keep an eye out for things you'd like to look at. A lot of people talking about gold and NASDAQ and S&P, so we've got those kind of out of the way for now. Dollar yen is seemingly pulling back in what seems to be a downtrend right now. Let me see what the EDGEFINDER has to say. UJ, not quite bearish, -3. So I don't have a strong enough bias to actually place any trades on UJ. I like to look at the top setups algorithm because basically it considers lots of different market data, everything from the commitment of traders bias, retail positioning, seasonal trends, momentum in the markets, economic statistics like GDP, PMIs, etc., inflation statistics, labor statistics, and interest rates. So I like to consult this, and feel free if you're watching here with me live to pause the stream if you want to see any charts that you're watching. So there's a lot of neutral things here. These are going to be your more bearish alerts, and these are your more bullish ones. And so you'll usually see me trading in the same direction as the EDGEFINDER, almost always, unless it's like a longer term strategy or something different. But again, GU, pound, pound and gold as our top bullish possible setups right now. Also, a lot of the indices still printing bullish readings, US 30, etc. S&P getting a neutral. I think that might just because COT was not as attractive this week compared to perhaps some of the other ones like the Dow and the NASDAQ, etc. We can actually go take a look at COT while we're on the topic, guys. If you'd like to take a look at this. So US 30, that is why the Dow is getting a real strong reading is look at this. The Dow had a huge increase on COT side, 7.73% bullish shift. That is a major move in the bullish camp. So Dow looking really attractive. I'll have to pull up US 30 here for us to take a look at that one. And by the way, guys, if you do want a copy of this, you can get access right now. We have a trial going on. If you would like trials, head over to a1trading.com. Check this out. We'll drop, Chandler, if you don't mind just dropping the link to the website, a1trading.com. This is an easy way to do this. If you guys want to try out the Edge Finder, head over to a1trading.com, top right. You can apply for a trial with the Edge Finder trial button here. When you open that up, it'll just ask you a few questions about your trading style, things like that. And then someone from our team will hook you up with a trial of the software. If you're somebody who is interested in it, wants to learn more about it, take advantage, pick it up there on our website. Again, a1trading.com. You should be able to just pull it up on any browser and request a trial there. So, yeah. Okay, guys, just a heads up. We do have the next major news event is not until 10 a.m. We had ADP non-farm employment change in case you missed the numbers coming out, 103K compared to 131K. That was a pretty meaningful difference, though ADP, it's like the advanced, like look ahead of NFP, but the problem is it's like pretty inaccurate. It's missed on predicting NFP for quite some time. It's the estimated change in the number of employed people during the previous month, excluding the farming industry. It's the estimated change. So it's an estimation. However, so is NFP. It gets revised often. But the point is NFP is like a kind of more of a final number, whereas ADP is kind of this, it's usually like a projection, but it's been very inaccurate recently. So perhaps the market is discrediting it a little bit here this morning. Again, guys, just a reminder, if you do want trials to the Edge Finder, you can find a link to that. Head over to a1trading.com. Top right hand of the screen, there is that option to request a free trial there. You can look at the COT data, look at retail sentiment, COT indicator that we just recently built, seasonal trend data. Speaking of, we're in December, we're well in. So do the opposite of ADP? No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that it predicts anything. I'm saying that ADP is like an early look at jobs. It's not necessarily an accurate representation of what the jobs numbers will actually be. If you looked at this whole year, ADP has been really inaccurate in predicting NFP. Is that the long-term actual value of ADP? Like, is it just useless? No, I don't think so. But this year, it's just been very inaccurate. So take it with a grain of salt. So again, let's take a look at some seasonality while we're on the topic, guys. We're taking a look at, of course, the month-to-month averages, average historical performance. The blue section is what I look at. It's the last 10-year average of a particular asset's performance. So, for example, the euro dollar is during the month of December in the last 10 years has actually been a pretty bullish month. In fact, the most bullish month, it seems, for euro dollar. So we'll look at euro dollar and see if that seems to be holding up on the month of December so far. Not so far. So here, and also we can see it in terms of December. We can see prices come down so far, but perhaps that could give you a signal to be like more bullish on a pullback. Speaking of euro dollar, I was a little bit discouraged by the idea that price didn't hold this area. I'm talking about 1.085, right? Support was here. Seasonally, we're kind of expecting some bullishness on the dollar, the euro dollar, but price seemed to break out and close underneath it. So it does seem like in the short term, it's due to come down a little bit further, perhaps to retest this 1.0725, let's call it. Yeah. So this area could be next. But again, kind of traveling, it seems like zone to zone right now, support not holding. Probably the next area of interest would be 1.0725. So yeah, Does the EDGEFINDER help you plan trades for the long run, or is it mostly used for short-term trades? Adele, that's a good question. We have people using the EDGEFINDER that are both anything from scalpers to swing traders. The EDGEFINDER doesn't give you like, oh, it's not this bullish bias or bearish bias is not a like 15-minute signal or a 4-hour signal. It's not like that. The EDGEFINDER just considers all the data, and as the data is changing, this score will change. Right. So you might get a bullish reading, and that's not necessarily like oh, well, it's bullish for the next hour or bullish for the next 4. No. It's just saying it's generally bullish until the data changes. So that could be whether you're trading the 15-minute chart or the 4-hour chart. It doesn't really matter as long as you're finding setups that match with the EDGEFINDER's bullish or bearish bias. That's kind of how most people tend to use it. So speaking of euro dollar getting bullish, so I like the idea of being bullish euro dollar, but I probably would have to wait for a pullback. So to the point of what I just said about the bullish or bearish bias from the EDGEFINDER, bullish euro dollar does not mean just go buy it right now. It just means potentially look for bullish setups if they make sense, right? So what we're looking for is a discount, a pullback here on the euro dollar down to this level. That would be potentially an area of interest for me. Jordan asks do you offer refunds if you purchase the EDGEFINDER? We have some terms on that you can look into, but also we offer trials. So just try it out. If you use the trial link on our website, a1trading.com, click the top right, EDGEFINDER trials, boom. Request a trial, and someone from our team will hook you up once you fill out that application. It may take us a little while because we do have quite a few people that are requesting trials, but if you would like one, you can get in line, and please be patient with us. We'll get to you as soon as possible. And if you just want to get access, you can also message us. We'll drop the link to our direct message center if you would like to chat with a representative. If you have questions specifically about the EDGEFINDER, we have several people on the staff that are trained reps with the EDGEFINDER. So if you'd like to ask a question or speak with somebody about the tool, please feel free to send us a message here. There it is. It's in the chat right now. And if you're watching back at a later time, I know a lot of people watch these streams at later dates. You can also find this link at the top of the description. That'll get you in direct contact with someone from my staff. If you'd like to try it out or learn more about the tool or hear about discounts. We're doing a Christmas discount, so message us if you want details on the Christmas discount as well. Okay, so moving on to pound dollar. What's the deal with pound dollar? Pound dollar, again, I tried to go long on this one and I got stopped out. So this one does not seem to like me recently. I tried to buy this area of support. Actually, so let me back up. I went long pound USD over here, and I actually made good money on that move. But then price came back down, and I tried again, and that time I got stopped out. So I took one win, one loss, and that's kind of my recent record with the pound dollar. So the question then is, where's the next attempt to go long, and is there one? Well, I think if you are going to go long again, it's going to be more from a swing trading perspective, because from a 1-hour chart perspective, this thing seems to have lost its steam. So if you're looking at like the 1 hour, this seems like it's in a downtrend now, right? So if you're looking from a 1-hour chart, you may be waiting for like a break, right? Breakouts, retests. Maybe you're looking for that signal. If you're more of a 1-hour chart trader or a 15-minute chart trader, I'd wait, in my opinion, for a breakout to the upside, right? So pound USD breakouts to the upside could be interesting on a 1-hour chart basis, and on a daily chart basis, possibly a pullback down to 1.2551. But this one's not really at a highly tradable level for me personally. So we'll move on from pound. Let's go look at some more setups. NZDUSD. Let's take a look at the Kiwi against the dollar. Not a pair I've been looking at recently, but the EDGEFINDER is giving us some nice confirmations. So let's have a look at this one. All right, I haven't even looked at this thing in so long. Okay, so taking a look, let's look at the daily chart perspective first. Momentum seems to be up, right? Clearly, bulls are in control of this market. There was this big downtrend for quite some time. Momentum seems to have flipped here to the bulls. And now when we take a look at the 4-hour chart, I think this gives us a little bit more of a perspective. So again, the daily chart pretty strong. Support seems pretty strong at this 0.6130. I'd be a little cautious with possible head and shoulder stuff going on here. But to me, this is not a head and shoulders until it breaks support, right? A lot of times people will be like, oh, head and shoulders, don't touch it. Well, yes, but a head and shoulders really is not a head and shoulders until this is truly a lower high. And the only time I think you really know that that's a lower high is when it actually puts in a new lower low, right? So if we see a break of structure, then yeah, that's completely bearish. But it's possible. And again, I think a lot of people get tricked up on this. They think like, oh, it's not going to go higher because it's got a head and shoulders. And while that totally could be the case that this becomes a head and shoulders, I don't think that that confirmation is in just yet. This totally could just be sideways for a minute, pull back to this level, find more buyers and rally. Right. So I don't want to, I think a lot of times people count themselves out completely of a possibly good trade just because they think this might be a head and shoulders, but you're trying to assume that this is before it truly is. Right. It's almost like you have to not talk yourself out of a decent trade setup. So I think for me, Kiwi dollar overall looks pretty bullish. And what I'd be interested in is if you're more of a intraday trader, we seemingly have found support off like the 4-hour and the daily chart here. But I think if you're an intraday trader, what I'd be looking for would be something more like this breakout here. Something like this. So I do like Kiwi dollar, but probably waiting for a breakout on like the 1-hour chart. So if we can get a break of structure at the 61.75, I kind of like that. So Kiwi dollar is a pending possibility. So Kiwi dollar, pound dollar, gold. Let's look at. I don't really trade pound Aussie very much. Let's take a look at euro yen. Euro JPY. Is there a setup on euro yen? A lot of momentum has been lost on this one. A lot of yen crosses have seen a switch, and I don't like that chart. That has lost so much momentum. Sellers seem really strong. This one seems like it's more likely to head down than up, at least in my perspective. So what I'd be looking for more would be, I don't like sells because again, I'm getting confirmation more on the bullish side. So this is getting a lot of COT bullishness, right? Economic statistics comparing euro to yen seems strong. Labor statistics. So euro yen's probably a pass for me on that. I did mention I want to take a look at Dow. Let's take a look at US 30. US 30. See what's going on this morning with US 30. Okay, and look at that. Dow's strong this morning. Is S&P following suit? S&P's following suit. NASDAQ being the leader. Actually, Dow, despite being up here today, is actually the laggard of the group. If you take a look here at, this is a pretty clear, I guess you could call it like a cup and handle kind of concept, right? But here's the thing. I like this a lot on the bullish side, but again, it's another momentum trade. So this is not a pullback trade. This would be more on the momentum side. Like, so if price breaks out, pullbacks, continuations. And what you might be noticing is a pattern here. Nick, you've got all these trades that could be good, but they're not at execution levels. And that is the annoying reality of trading. Most of the time, you are waiting for setups to set up, or you're waiting for trades to play out. So I'm in a waiting period big time here today because I've got two things. I've got the double whammy waiting. Number one, I'm waiting on a current trade to continue to either play out and make a decision. I'm still long S&P 500, so I either need to stop out, so I'm waiting to either stop out, or I'm waiting for another break higher to trail stops further So I'm waiting over here. And as I just got done talking about with other setups like US 30, this is another waiting over here. So I'm saying I need to wait for this one to break out. And I think that a lot of times, especially people today, we're all like conditioned by social media to be so like, here now, I want it, 5 minutes ago. Like, we want that instant gratification. So a lot of times I think like the new generation of traders probably struggles more than ever with like impulsive trading and like needing it to be exciting. And trading just is not. I think, one of the greatest ways that I think crypto, which is now coming back into the picture, we can pull up Bitcoin just while we talk about this. The Bitcoin market went down and sideways slowly for so long. And I think it totally just like, look, this period of time was more a killing blow to the crypto world than this period of time where markets were crashing. So why? Because people want instant gratification. And so when they get this like grindy, no volatility, slow moving Bitcoin, that completely killed the interest in the market. Now interest is probably coming back because boom, volatility is back and everybody's excited, right? Everybody can't help but chase the market. And that's like the crypto 101 story, right? Everybody chases this thing. And then when it goes silent and just slowly kills everybody off, the next bull market silently begins, right? It's very, very interesting how that market mentality works. But trading 101 it's a lot of waiting. It is a ton of waiting. So when we talk about like the Dow, and I'm pointing out, maybe on like the 1 hour chart, there's a momentum trade here. It just means waiting for this specifically. Now, I'm not just saying waiting as in just do nothing ever. I'm talking about waiting with a purpose. So like you mark up your charts, you look for the right setups that you're watching for, and then you actually are there to execute. So a breakout on the Dow could get me interested. Yes, is it high? Sure. But high can go higher, especially with good fundamentals and momentum. I see no issue with looking for an opportunity to get long the Dow over the highs on a pullback. Nick, please look at WTI. Sure, I'll take a look at oil. We also should talk about dollar CAD. We've got big news coming out for it in just an hour and 15 or so. So let's see, oil. Quick look at oil here this morning. Look at this, oil coming down hard. This is obviously not cool to see if you're a bull, but we've been bearish on oil for a while. The EDGEFINDER's been pointing towards bearish setups for the last few weeks. So congrats to anybody who's trading oil. I know a couple guys in our group that trade oil. They're commodities traders. They trade gold and oil pretty much exclusively, and they've been really short on oil. EDGEFINDER's been incredibly bearish oil, and I've loved to see this play out so nicely. So US oil, again, this looks like a bearish chart. Now, again, that doesn't mean it can't change. I've gotten, people have been like, Nick, you said it looked bearish. Well, I'm not a fortune teller. I'm not a magician. Nobody knows. Nobody has a crystal ball when it comes to markets. But right now, there's nothing here that tells me, oh, this thing is going to pop from here, right? Fundamentals seem pretty dang bearish on gold, on oil. You have slowing demand globally right now as economic data continues to roll in, cooling in the US and other places. And you have the OPEC stuff. They're probably not happy with prices at these levels. And so perhaps you could be contrarian, thinking that OPEC is going to make a move against this to try and get prices back up. But again, they're fighting an uphill battle with slowing demand globally, right? At the end of the day, if the economies around the world are cooling, it's going to have a negative effect on oil because the demand for it declines, right? So what's the bias on oil? In my personal opinion, I'm looking for pullbacks to sell into when it comes to oil. As always, that is my opinion. That is not what I'm telling you to do. I have to say that over and over. And I know for my regular friends, you already know that. And you don't necessarily need me to clarify that over and over, but I do it because this is YouTube and you never know when somebody brand new to this stuff wanders in and, you know, they hear somebody say, oh, things look bullish, things look bearish. I am not a fortune teller. Let me disclaim and get in front of you. I will tell you, I am wrong often with markets. Everyone is, even the most profitable traders in the world. And people don't get that. People think profitable traders are like magicians that just have a pulse on what's going to happen next, when it's just not the case. Great traders make terrible calls all the time. It's just about how well do you manage risk and how do you adapt to be on the right side, and hold on to winners as best you can. So how do I play oil? Well, I think for me, pullbacks. So I actually like this on the sell side if it gets back up into this area. I'm not saying it will, but if it were to bounce and pull back, that would be a setup for me, I think, on the sell side. So oil is actually on my watch list as well. I have a lot of things that are on my watch list that are just not quite ready for setups. Take a quick look at yields. Yields coming down here this morning yet again. That's going to be like a 15th day in a row that yields come down. This is putting pressure, should put pressure on the dollar index. Let's take a look at that. And dollar index is still hanging in there. I do think dollar index is set to come down. It tagged my 104 level that I pointed to as a possible bearish setup. Let's see, are we at 104? We did tag 104. There's 104 right there. We'll see if my idea was right about that. I'm thinking 104 should hold for the sellers. That could be bullish for gold. Let's go check gold too. 1 hour chart perspective. Still looking for this move. Watching it close, see if we can get that. By the way, guys, if you would like to get notifications whenever we take trades, you can actually get access to that. Let me see if I can pull that up for us. If you would like access to trade alerts when we take them, here's the inside scoop. If you want to join the Discord channel, we'll drop the link to our direct message center. If you click this link, you can speak with someone on our team about a membership. If you don't have a membership with us already, anytime Frank, Ivan, or myself, the three traders here at A1, anytime we take a trade, you can get a notification sent to your phone and to your desktop via Discord. We have a Discord server where all of our trades and full analysis get broken down and shared in detail. So if that's something that you think would be useful to you, if you'd like to get access to our signals. Now, again, it is a signals service, but not your traditional one where it's just a buy here, sell here. We don't do that. And it is more of a service where you can see the trades and breakdowns, the analysis behind each and every trade. So I know, of course, these streams can go for 2 hours long. And so there might be 2 hour periods where I only take one trade or I don't take a trade at all. And then off camera, I take a trade. So if you want to keep up with us, anytime we take a position, please join the Discord. You get that notification anytime. If you direct message us here, we'll get you a really big subscriber discount to join the Discord channel. So we'd love to have some of you guys join us. Again, we'll be trading a lot of gold, I think, in the next couple of weeks with all of this crazy all-time high stuff. That is actually when I love to trade gold the most, is when it's moving quite a bit. So watching for pullbacks here on the gold market. So yes, also silver. What's going on with silver? Silver just cannot catch a bid. It's such a crazy asset. It moves quite quickly when it does, and a lot of times it moves just as quick back the other way. Let's look at pound yen. Pound yen is like the FX day trader's favorite pair. 1 hour chart here. Stuck in a range, it seems like, pound yen. Yeah, so sitting at support here, pound yen. We'll watch to see if this one wants to break out. Look at NAS go here this morning. NAS is pushing. S&P, same thing. Definitely like to see that. And by the way, guys, this is going to be day 36 that I'm in this trade still. It's just been such a long trade. And you may ask, Nick, why would you hold a trade that long? The nature of my trading strategy is I like to trail stops. And before you say, oh, that's what I need to be doing, trailing stops, let me just warn you, trailing stops stink sometimes, because sometimes you trail a stop, you get whipped out for a very small profit, or you get whipped out for break even. It's not an easy trading style. No, nothing is. Everybody's looking for like that tell me the strategy that's going to, very little drawdown, great entry points. Everybody wants that. The reality is it's so hard to get a strategy like that. In fact, there is no strategy like that. Everything has strengths and weaknesses. You know how when you load into like a video game, you pick like a class in some games, like you can be like the really tanky character or the range character, or like League of Legends kind of thing. Everything has a strength and a weakness. And when you trade, you pick a trading style. Any trading style with its momentum, trend following, mean reversion, reversals, scalping, day trading, swing trading. I don't care what trading strategy you pick. You cannot hide from the reality of the market. Everything has a strength. Everything has a weakness. And so for me, trailing stops, the strength is that every once in a while I get this. I get a massive, massive winner. What's the weakness? Well, a lot of times I take a trade and then it moves in my favor, and then I trail a stop and I get taken out. So I could have taken profits here, but I only took this, right? Everything has a strength. Everything has a weakness. Brad says, how do you manage how much to risk per trade on your trades? It's really, really personal and up to you, because some people will say like you should risk 1%. Some people will say you should risk 2%, 0.5%. It really is personal, because here's the thing. If you're somebody who cannot handle the idea of a 30% drawdown, you probably should not risk 1% per trade, because guess what? People on social media will tell you, oh, that's not going to happen. 1%, it's going to keep you comfy. No, 1% can have some pretty steep drawdowns. If you spent any amount of time back testing, you already know this. If you have not spent any time back testing, spend some time back testing, and you'll realize no strategy. Again, nothing can hide from the markets. There are always times where things are tough. And if you're risking more than 1%, get ready for 30% plus drawdowns at some point. It's almost inevitable. With that said, with my warning out of the way, I think I'm at a point where I don't really want to have massive swings on my account. I don't need to have massive swings on my account because I'm working with a larger capital basis. So I risk much smaller than 1%, even sometimes 0.25% or 0.10% if I really am looking for a small position, right? Just depends what strategy you're running, how many trades you're having on, right? Because if you're risking 1% per trade, but you have 30 trades open, you're risking massively, right? So it depends. It's very much up to your back testing. And there's not a blanket. I don't think there's a blanket answer that fits everyone. So yeah, look at this. S&P still staying strong. Jobs data so far has been good for the S&P 500. We had JOLTS and ADP both coming out cooling jobs numbers. Are the way. Also, Chandler or James, I hate to sound petty, but I didn't have time to make coffee this morning. And if you're making a cup, could you make me a cup too? I think we have a long stream here ahead of us, and I could really use, and you know how much everybody here should know by now. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. You guys are the best. If you've seen, there's this one video on my channel that Chandler loves to play. Chandler's the editor that does my videos. James, you guys have seen him on the show. He produces our streams. He also manages the A1 trading channel. There's this one video on my channel where I was making a coffee in one of my videos, and I poured creamer, and I pour a lot of creamer, and I'm newer to coffee. Like I've only been drinking coffee for like 3 years now. I guess that's newer. But there's this one video where I pour creamer, and I just got absolutely devastated in the comment section because of how much coffee creamer I pour in. Anyways, they know how I like it. I like a little bit of coffee in my creamer is what we like to say. Thank you. No creamer.
You want creamer?
Yes.
Well, I don't know how much you want.
A lot. Thank you. I was going to say, I don't have the, James, you guys know James. He drinks his coffee black, and I don't know how. He is just a crazy man for that. He does like straight black coffee. What do you guys in the comment section? Do you guys drink straight black coffee, creamer? James comes in and goes, you want no creamer?" And I was like, "James, I'm not as manly as you are. I can't handle that." Yeah, look. Nick's coffee, splash of coffee, 90%, 95% creamer. That's just facts. That's just truth. I can't deny it. I like creamer. Okay. It's not good for you. Don't do what I do. Black coffee if I'm working outside. Oh, okay. Jesse has an interesting philosophy. We'll have to ask do you guys agree with that? Black coffee if I'm working outside and creamer if I'm chilling. Yeah, I can't do it. I don't know how James does it. He does straight black coffee. That's a man's man right there. All right. So in terms of, is Bitcoin still moving? Look at Bitcoin, guys. Bitcoin's gone crazy. Does anybody own any Bitcoin in the comments? Let me know. Dollar Swiss. Dollar Swiss has taken such a beating alongside the dollar index. We're going, I would never usually ask my team to make coffee for me. I do appreciate it, but it's because we're going for a long stream today and I need that caffeine. And I didn't have time to make it this morning. I just heard them making it in there. Thank you, James. I appreciate it, man. I was saying, I don't know how you do the straight black coffee. That is just, but did you see Jesse's comment? He said, black coffee if he's working outside, creamer if he's chilling. I thought that was kind of an interesting philosophy.
I can get behind that.
Yeah.
So if I'm at a fancy coffee shop,
Mm-hmm.
I'll go
creamer.
I'll go with something. I'll do one of their specialty somethings.
Gotcha.
But if I'm making it myself, that's just, I'm not gonna spend the time doing anything else.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Maybe someday I'll get as tough as James. Just go straight black coffee. Comes in.
One can only hope.
I was like, James, you assume a lot of me. Shout out James and Chandler for the stream support as always. Puts hair on your chest. That's what my dad always says. Alex says he's been in Bitcoin since 15K. That's awesome. Vanessa prefers black coffee. Wow. It is I don't know. I'm just not tough enough, I guess. Anyways, guys, maybe it's time for a poll. I've been curious. If you're not in the Telegram channel, we'll drop the link here. Join the Telegram if you're not in there. I'm going to make a poll right now because I think we need to get some crowd sentiment. So I'm making a poll here. Gold, bullish or bearish? I like to do this every once in a while. Just get some feedback from the community. If you're not in our Telegram, again, it is free to join. We just dropped the link here in the chat. Thank you, Chandler, for doing that. Cast your vote. Let us know. Don't let my vote influence you, but I am bullish. We've got 61% so far saying bullish, 60% now. Again, you can always vote. We do polls on a regular basis. If you're not in the Telegram, come join the action. The Telegram is the best way to keep up with, honestly, what's going on at A1. So if you're not in there and you're a real fan, come join us. Chandler's ready to expose me, guys. I can see it out of the corner of my eye. Never fails. Chandler does a great job at making me look great, but also he has the power to make me look really dumb. So Chandler, if you want to show that video, you've got, here it is, guys. I'm telling you, don't say I didn't warn you. Go for it, Chandler. Have my cup of coffee. I sit down. Next, I'm pretty much going to be looking for my cup of coffee. Next up, I am a trend trader, so usually what I'm looking for is my cup of coffee. My business is called A. Look at the creamer. There's too much creamer in there, huh? Creating my cup of coffee. I definitely have to have my cup of coffee. I sit down. Thanks, Chandler. Shout out, Chandler. That's why you got to take care of your editors, because if you don't, they can destroy you. Just kidding. We got the best editors in town between James and Chandler. I think we were going to have Kenzo join us, but we haven't had him join just yet. I see Frank is behind the scenes, so maybe we'll chat with Frank for a second. But before we do, we'll take a real quick break to thank our sponsors that make this show possible and help provide coffee for the office, or should I say creamer for the office. So Frank is joining the stream right after this. Check it out. All right. We are back with the man, the myth, the legend. What's up, Frank?
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. I just got my hazing for drinking my creamer with my coffee in it.
Oh yeah,
Frank,
you put coffee in there? I thought you just
mostly. Well, what I do is it's mostly creamer, and then I splash a little coffee in it, and then I call it coffee.
Yeah.
Frank, we got a lot of people wondering, is this indices move going to last? S&P making a push, Nas making a push. Look at NASDAQ. NASDAQ coming back to life here today. What are your thoughts on the indices?
Well, I think it's because of the ADP news. So that came out lower than expected, lower than last month, which is a good sign. But if history has told us anything, that means that a lower ADP will mean an extremely high beat in expectations on Friday for the actual NFP. So ADP I don't really know. Yeah. I don't really know, but I guess basically it doesn't tell you anything. So I don't know what to think of this, but I think NFP is the main driver for this week. So I don't know.
Yeah, I know you're of course you're joking, but at the same time, Frank, you make a good point about ADP. So ADP, of course, we stream it, we cover it because it's a red folder and people are curious to see what it says about jobs numbers. But as you pointed out, ADP has been so inaccurate at forecasting NFP this year that you can almost just throw it out. But with that said, perhaps that does ask a good question though, Frank. Do you sell the rally because we don't trust ADP? Or I don't know. What do you think?
No, I don't think so. I feel like there's a bullish case for higher and lower NFP. So, well, at least for the indices, what I mean. Dollar, higher NFP would be maybe good for the dollar, but when it comes to like Fed monetary policy, higher NFP was concerning earlier on in the year because everyone thought, well, that means higher inflation. But what we've seen so far is declining inflation and then higher NFP. So I think either way, it could be interpreted as a bullish sign for jobs anyway. I think the main factor is as long as CPI is coming down, that's a good indicator. So I think honestly that the fact that it's all the way back up here already it's probably going to try to attempt at this. I think these are highs of the March 2022 level. I'm not sure, but
Mhm.
I think just because we're seeing this move and not a straight decline like we did a few weeks ago, then we could be caught in some kind of consolidation. But I think it's a bullish case for the markets at least.
Yeah, I mean, it's been consolidating, so the market's been looking for any opportunity to do something. And I think it's, even though we don't necessarily care tremendously for ADP numbers, it's still something for the market to look at and kind of correct this move. So I think it's a valid bounce here as we continue to wait for NFP on Friday, which is definitely the Hollywood event for this week. And then after that, there's really not too much more to the month and to the remainder of the year. That being said, the other market that everybody's talking about, Frank, is gold. And do you think that this move? So I think that you've pointed out that you think that this move could be kind of the gold move is done for a while, that the upside is limited, and that big sellers came in. But I guess, is there anything that NFP could do to get you bullish on gold, or is it just kind of not interesting?
I think the case is already bullish on gold, and because of just how crazy fast it moved to the upside, I feel like that's just going to delay things. Um, like it broke 2075, went well above 2100 before it came all the way back. Now it's got like this 2005, 2010 level, 2075. I mean, I feel like you can trade in this target or zone, I guess, but I'm not really as bullish anymore just because of I feel like the move already happened.
Sure.
So I always go back to this for at least this week anyways, but I'm seeing Bitcoin as, having way more upside than gold in the near future anyways. And
Well, you've been very right about that, Frank, because you've been saying that for several days now. You've been pointing to more
once it broke
potential in
38, when
Yeah.
it broke this level, I looked at the next target and said 48, I think. Well, let me find like a good time frame to look at this. But yeah, so 48 would be another weekly high from March of 2022. So that's also like the market's time frame of highs too. So if the market, we see a bullish case for the S&P and it returns to its 2022 highs. Bitcoin probably on the same track, but that's I guess it's 48,000 is where I think it's going to go, at least by the end of this month, hopefully. But that's what I'm more interested in is the upside potential on Bitcoin versus gold. I think Bitcoin's a way better pick right now.
Yep, that's fair. I think Bitcoin is an interesting one because you have to treat it a little bit differently than a lot of other markets, because I think the reason that I would point to doing that is because Bitcoin has a different player base or user base or trader base, because it attracts like the herd crowd to come in. And as much as people say like, oh, obviously you don't want to be chasing because you can get in trouble, it's so weird because as long as I think you're managing risk, it's like possible to not necessarily chase, but to look for good risk reward trades to join the move in maybe a different way than you would trade other markets. Because again, the crowd itself is so chase oriented that it's almost like you can find a way to chase with good risk management, not and still like trade the momentum of it. So I don't hate the idea of actually I'm more bullish on gold on Bitcoin as it does this than I am when it was way over here doing nothing. Right? I like to trade if I'm going to trade Bitcoin, which I rarely do, but if I was, it would be when this thing is just going parabolic and looking for intraday pullbacks with relatively tight stops. That's personally how I would trade it. But Do you agree, Frank? I mean, this is in my opinion, this is the time you actually do trade Bitcoin, and you let it do nothing, and that's when I don't touch it.
Yeah. It's hard because Bitcoin moves so like crazy. Oh,
Mhm.
sorry, that's oil. I was going to talk about oil too, but let me pull up Bitcoin really quick. So I think tight stops is a good idea, just because you know, when it gets caught in an uptrend, I guess you have this period of consolidation, but it's still trailing upwards for the most part. And I think as long as you're okay with, risking a little bit and keeping your stop losses, sometimes they have to be aggressive, but sometimes you keep them tight. Um, I think the odds are in your favor, is what I'm trying to say. So the direction is just going to go, if it's going up like this, the odds of it continuing to do so is pretty high. So you're
Yes.
at the advantage buying. And even if you buy and it comes down, they statistically right now, the odds of it continuing to go higher is higher than the odds of it going lower. So
Yeah, I think that's fair. I agree. It's a momentum asset. Let's do oil before we go to we're playing that same game we did yesterday, Frank. So I think we're kicking it up in terms of
that'll be
difficulty
fun.
today. So I'm kind of excited. But oil, what do you think on oil? I'm pretty bearish, but what do you think?
I wanted to short it, and I didn't end up shorting it once it broke this daily low yesterday. And
Yeah.
now it's even lower. So that's another trade I missed. But now that it's here, this is where I think it's going to go, where it's just extra support. And there's really no other line of defense after this. Maybe 69.70 or 67.46, something like that. But yeah, and the huge bearish head and shoulders and large descending trend line, price just could not break that. It's just a serious downtrend right there.
Yeah, and I like the fundamentals and the technicals. First of all, technicals look really pretty on oil. You've got a nice downward trend here. Each attempt to go higher, sellers step back in. And then now you've got, as you pointed out on the daily chart here, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red candles in a row. That shows real selling. For me, it's like the fundamentals are just as great because you've got economic data. We've watched it, Frank, just continue to roll in slow and cooling. Now we're seeing jobs data come in slowing. That cooling in the economy is threatening the demand side of oil. And so oil coming in pretty hard. We also see some of the recent catalysts, the Middle Eastern stuff, coming, not necessarily, not to say that it's not a still very serious situation, but it does seem like it's staying relatively contained. The fear would have been if a bunch of countries get involved and a bunch of embargoes and sanctions and stuff flared up, that would have been super
Tighter
bullish.
supply, you mean?
Yeah. So the supply
Yeah.
side looks intact and the demand side seems to be falling. So I don't know. To me, I'm looking for pullbacks. I can't short it down here, but I'll be watching for sell opportunities on oil for the rest of at least for the rest of December. So we'll see. I think, Frank, we've got our game here. So James, if you want to set us up, this should be fun. We're gonna. By the way, guys, if you want to play this game, it's Guess That Market, and this is James's creation. We had a lot of fun with this yesterday. If you would like to play, we're gonna drop it in the Telegram real quick. So I'm gonna just type something here. Guess That Market starting on stream now. We had fun with this yesterday, Frank. I'm kind of excited.
We went for like 5 for 6 or something. We got almost
Yeah,
all of
I
it.
did. Yeah, I told James though to kick up the difficulty, so I'm kind of nervous now that we're gonna look really dumb.
Yeah. I mean, once
Okay,
you get
James.
outside the USD pairs.
Yeah, right. There he is. All right, James. Let's do Guess That Market.
Yeah, so it's the same as we did yesterday. So I'm going to show you a chart that has been cropped in a little bit, so you're not going to be able to see the full thing. I will tell you off the bat right now, the way that I give you the initial look of the chart, it is the full 2023 year view. So it's the daily chart, and the screenshot you're going to see is what that market did in 2023. So we can go ahead and get started, and I will read you the first question based off this chart. We're going to start off with 3 different stock charts. So again, this image that you're seeing right here is all of 2023, the
Tesla.
daily chart for this market. It says this
It's
market
Tesla,
is the
James.
most
You don't
actively
have to read it.
traded asset on the NASDAQ. It reached all-time highs in 2021 and has been in a slight downtrend the past 5 months. So the most actively traded asset on the NASDAQ. And I'm going to drop this in the Telegram chat as well if you want to play along. I'm going to do a poll right now, and that is going to be up in the Telegram in just a second while Nick and Frank are figuring this out for themselves.
We don't have to figure it out. We already know.
Frank, you gotta let the crowd play too, Frank.
I have to beat the crowd.
You're sitting there like competing with the audience.
Watch it not be Tesla, though.
So I just put that in the Telegram. I'm going to go ahead and get the second question ready as well. Do either of you think you know the answer?
I think
I
so.
don't know.
All right, let's see. So again, this market is the most actively traded asset on the NASDAQ. It reached all-time highs in 2021 and has been in a slight downtrend for the past 5 months. This is, in fact, Tesla. This is Tesla.
Nice.
The question
Okay, so
number 2.
It's 1 for
Again,
1.
this is 2023 daily chart.
Don't say it.
This market grew 128% from March of 2020 to hitting its all-time highs in July of 2021. Seeing strong, steady growth in 2023, this market is the 4th most actively traded asset on the NASDAQ.
Ericsson.
This one's actually kind of hard. I'm torn.
You think it might be Apple? Apple or Meta?
And that is in the Telegram chat for everybody playing along now.
4th most traded on the NASDAQ, you said, James?
Yes. So this market grew 128% from March of 2020 to hitting its all-time highs in July of 2021. Seeing strong, steady growth in 2023, this market is the 4th most actively traded asset on the NASDAQ.
Okay, I'm going to take maybe a contrarian. I think it might be Amazon.
Okay, well,
I might be wrong.
Apple, Amazon, like the FANG stocks all kind of have the same pattern.
Yeah, and I feel like Apple would have been like the 2nd most traded because it's such a big stock. But maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. I'm saying, do I have to pick one or can I pick 2?
You have to pick
one.
All right, since you picked Amazon, I'm going to pick Meta.
Okay. Meta's.
So 1 Amazon, 1 Apple, did you say?
No, Meta.
Oh, 1 Amazon, 1 Meta. All right. The correct answer is Amazon.
It is Amazon. Wow.
It is Amazon. All right. One more stock question for you.
Ooh.
This market is the 2nd highest traded asset inside of the S&P 500, hitting highs in 1999 This market has been in a downtrend since 2016.
AT&T.
I can tell you it's not Alphabet. Google's done a little bit better than that.
That's either AT&T or American Airlines.
I know that it's not Alaska Air Group because they just bought Hawaiian Airlines and the market hated that they did that. So Alaskan Air Group sold off. So I think it's got to be A or B. AT&T has had a good rally recently and it popped yesterday. So I'm going to say AT&T.
Well, hold on. AT&T doesn't move like that though.
It doesn't, but recently, Frank, I think like Verizon and AT&T have had kind of a comeback recently. You might be right. It might be American Airlines, but I think that that's AT&T because AT&T had a big crash and it was up a lot yesterday.
And then again, why would the airlines be in a downtrend since 2016?
True. I think it's AT&T.
Frank?
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna say that too.
All right, both people are saying AT&T. It is AT&T. Very nice. All right, moving right along.
My heart skipped.
Question number 4. Now we're switching back into currency pairs.
Okay.
Currency pairs.
Oh, no.
This market started off the year strong, hitting its yearly high in February, nearly closing at 0.9, but falling just short. It's dropped hard since then and has spent the better part of the year trading in between 0.85 and 0.87. Its all-time high was reached on December 30th, 2008. And this is getting dropped in the Telegram right now. Again,
Okay.
this market started off the year strong, hitting its yearly high in February, nearly closing at 0.9, but falling just short. It's dropped hard since then and has spent the better part of the year trading in between 0.85 and 0.87. Its all-time high was reached on December 30th, 2008.
Well, I don't know that.
So it's not pound dollar because pound dollar is
No.
above 1.
It's not pound dollar. It's no dollar pair, I don't think.
I think it's
Actually-
either
There's only $1 pair.
Euro, Frank versus pound. Pound is like what? 1.3? No. Wait, is it like 1.3 against the dollar?
Against a dollar, it's like one. Oh, I thought it was. I think it's close to that because last time it was like 1.2 something.
Okay.
So,
And then euro is like against the dollar is like 1.03 or whatever. So the pound against the euro would go under 1. So it could be euro pound. What did you say its current quote is, James? Did you say it was like 0.8?
It spent the majority of the year trading in between 0.85 and 0.87. So roughly these lows right here is about 0.85, and then these tops right here is about 0.87. So this whole kind of big range for a little over half the year is in between 0.85 and 0.87.
I'm gonna say euro pound.
Euro pound. The pound has been really strong recently. And the Aussie trade's like much lower, so I feel like pound over Aussie would be a positive number or over 1. I think it's either euro Aussie or euro pound. 0.8 euro lower than pound. I think you might be right. I think it's euro pound.
All right,
Let's see.
final answer.
Yeah.
It is euro pound.
All right. Nice,
It is
Frank.
euro pound.
That was a straight guess.
That was hard.
All right. Well, we have two more. Next currency pair. Question number 5. Since January 2021, this market has been in a steep uptrend, growing by nearly 48% in that time. Last month, we hit highs dating back to 1990, but the all-time highs on this chart date back even further than that.
I know this one.
Same.
And I'm dropping it in the Telegram right now for everybody. Everybody playing along.
I know that uptrend too well, Frank.
It's J.
Yep.
All
People in
right.
the audience seem to guess that one right with us. They knew that one. Last one was hard. People thought it was pound dollar.
This is ZAR MXN.
I'm going to let everybody in the Telegram get their answers in while I get this final question ready. Final question is crypto.
Oh,
Final
Frank,
question
you might need to carry here.
We got them all right. We don't need
It's
to
going to
carry.
be Doge. It's going
I
to be
think you
Doge.
have gotten,
We've beaten the
besides
audience.
AT&T that you guys were split on, I think that you've gotten all of them right so far.
Oh wait, no, that's right. Nick, you're perfect. I forgot one.
Between yesterday and today, though, I think we're about the same.
So I put out the video. If you missed yesterday's game, it's actually uploaded on the A1 Trading YouTube channel right now. We went through and the questions on there, and we were keeping score. And yeah, you guys tied. We did 6 questions just like today, and both of you got 5 correct. So might start having to make a tiebreaker question. But yes, what was the answer to this one?
UJ.
UJ is correct. USDJPY.
Also, just a reminder, guys, who are listening, watching along, if you want to play, we do this. We might be doing this every once in a while now. If you'd like to play in the future, just make sure to join our Telegram. That's where we're dropping the polls to vote on. So if you're not in there, the link just got dropped in the chat.
Last question. Yeah, you can join the Telegram right now, right in time for the final question, which again is a crypto question. Here is what your crypto chart looks like. And that was just dropped in the Telegram for everybody playing along. So your final question is, from January 1st of this year to the highs of this year in November, this market grew by 558%, according to that green tool that I used in TradingView. But that is still nowhere. This high right here is nowhere near the all-time highs of 2021. Is it Bitcoin, US dollar, Sol, Tether, Ethereum dollar, or Doge Tether?
So Frank, it's not Bitcoin.
It's not Bitcoin. It's not Bitcoin, but everything is so far from its highs.
So it's not Bitcoin because Bitcoin, we talked about this yesterday, I think like 170 something %. And Ethereum, I think it's even lagging Bitcoin this year.
Ethereum's it's not keeping up with Bitcoin. So, I mean, 500% sounds like a Dogecoin move.
But Doge, wouldn't we have known if it was up that much? I feel like it's got to be Sol USDT because Doge, I feel like we would have known was up that much. Or
is Sol like is it a very small crypto?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I think I agree with you then.
Ivan thinks it's Doge.
If it's Doge, I'm going to be really disappointed because how do we not watch this? Because 2021, guys, was a crazy time. We talked about this yesterday in the office. Dogecoin just went parabolic. So if we hadn't been watching Dogecoin and it did that kind of move, I'd be kind of disappointed because it would have brought us back to the good old days. So I'm going to lock in B, Sol USDT.
Sol? What about you, Frank?
I agree.
Ivan also thinks that Sol. He was trolling with the Doge. And all 3 of you are correct. It is Sol. Whatever Sol is. I went on the crypto and I was looking at the most popular ones. The most popular ones, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Doge, and Sol. And I saw a 500% move, and I was like, let's see if the boys are keeping up with crypto. So there we go. Nick, I think you got all of them right. I think Nick got all 6 right Frank, you got 5 out of
All
6.
right.
So very, very good job. Can we see what the can we look at the Telegram and see what
Yeah, I
the
got it pulled up.
chat had to say about everything?
Yeah. So there we go. Okay. So thanks to everybody who played. And if you're not in the Telegram, again, you can play next time. Make sure to join. We'll drop that link in the chat for you. So first one, oh, I don't know where my vote went. I think I refreshed the page. I can't even remember what the first one was. I think it was Tesla.
It was
Yeah,
Tesla.
Yep. So Tesla, people guessed Apple, but Tesla was second. Question 2, the answer was Amazon, but people thought it was Apple. AT&T was number 3. People got that right.
Mhm.
Euro pound. This one I think was the hardest one. Frank and I almost did Euro Aussie, but it ended up being Euro pound. That was the right answer. So that one people got kind of wrong on 71%. People said pound dollar. Dollar yen was a big one. Everyone seemed to have gotten that one. So people got dollar yen. And that last one, people thought it was Bitcoin. But again, Bitcoin is up, but not quite 500%. It would be nice, but not quite. I pulled up Doge just to see what it was at. And this year, since beginning of the year, it's up. Let's see. I had to check. January, roughly 45%. Dang, Doge hasn't even kept up with poor Doge boys. Not hanging in this year, I guess. 45% still amazing, but Bitcoin's up like 170.
Well, wait. From what point? Bitcoin was up like
From the beginning of 2023.
50. Oh, yeah. I guess that makes sense.
So beginning of this year till now, Dogecoin is up 44%. But just you wait; it'll get to $1 per coin someday.
Who can guess time frames is the real trader? That might be kind of funny trying to guess time frames.
Time frames?
Well,
oh my gosh, Dexter,
you're gonna see if
that just wouldn't work.
I think it might because of the volatility on the lower time frames, you might be able to. I mean, if I showed you a 15-minute chart and a daily chart, you would probably be able to pick out between the two, I think.
Yeah,
that is true. That is true.
Maybe.
Well, James, thank you for coming on, and Frank, thanks for playing as well. We'll let both of you guys go, and I'll hang around here just a little bit longer for the news, and we'll see you guys back on the next one. Thanks for setting that up, James.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks.
All right. See you guys. And S&P 500, by the way, guys, is coming back down. It popped this morning, and then the pop was over. Let's take a look and see what's going on with gold. Is gold? Gold is hanging in there. We were watching for this possible breakout here earlier in the stream, looking for that breakout pullback possibility. And by the way, we have the Bank of Canada making their decision in about 20 odd minutes. Here's dollar CAD. Taking a look at the 4-hour chart. Dollar's been under pressure, so this one definitely still in a downtrend. Though I'm not sure if it gets a bearish reading. Dollar CAD, nope, not quite. I do want to go back to that oil concept we were talking about. Oil is falling apart here today. As I mentioned earlier, I do like oil on the short side, but probably going to have to wait for a pullback on that. Saw resistance around 74. Price came down to support, broke that support. So now this is the painful part where it's like, okay, the move is happening. I'm not in the move. I wish I was. So pullback shorts could be interesting, but we'll see if we can get them. Nick was copying my answers. That was the secret, Dexter. I was copying your answers. Live stream hype. What's up, Jamie? Thank you very much for the live stream hype. By the way, guys, smash that thumbs up button if you're enjoying the live. It does help us out, get more people, get the word out about what we do here. You guys know the no nonsense, no fake hype, no Lambos, no lifestyle, just a bunch of nerdy traders that talk markets every day. And if you're new here and you feel compelled, then subscribe. The power of charts compel you. That was so lame. I think for me, the markets I'm still watching the closest are going to be this gold. I'm very serious about getting long gold again. I would like to try it out, and I actually don't hate this at all. Waiting for the breakout. But again, I've got to see, the thing for me is I've got to see price break just to see that this move seems real. Nas pulling back. Yeah, let's pull that up. NASDAQ. Look at that. NASDAQ erasing all of that opening steam, coming right back in. S&P 500. Gapped on the open here, S&P. Pushed up in the pre-market session. But still, again, thought process for S&P is staying long unless we break structure. I've been in this trade for a long time now, much longer than my average position. I've talked about it endlessly. You guys know the drill. I'm still in from my November 1st purchase. And just to reiterate, if you haven't heard me talk about seasonality before, here's the in on seasonality. It is such a powerful indicator. It's not the holy grail because it's not perfect. Seasonality does not predict the future perfectly. But as we entered into these last 2 months, I have pointed out again and again. Again, recently I tried to go long gold. It didn't work out. I was break even on my 2 trades in the pound USD, so didn't really work out. But I've been really right about the S&P. And I point out the wins and the losses because I think it's important. It frustrates me to no end when people will never talk about their losses. They'll only talk about when they're right. But I do think it's also constructive to talk about wins from a perspective of how did they come about, because it doesn't help anyone if all I do is show you the trades after they've worked out, right? That's like social media 101 is only ever talk about a trade when it's going really well. I don't really buy into that. I don't like that approach. So let's talk constructively about the S&P trade. Let's get real about the S&P move that's gone on. I've been bearish dollar. I've been bullish S&P and gold. Gold has not played out very well for me. I haven't been able to capture that bullishness that I've had on gold, but I have been able to capture it on the S&P. So in November, we looked historically at what the S&P typically does. And in November, it is typically one of the best months of the year in the last 10 years. So typically the NASDAQ, the S&P, the Dow, they typically rally at the end of the year. Is that every year? Is that a certainty? No and no. But it's a probability, and that's all that trading you can possibly do. There's no guarantees or telling exactly what the market's going to do. Anybody who speaks in certainties in this game is a fool, and there's no other way of saying it. If you hear somebody speaking in certainties about markets, they are a fool. If it even sounds close to sounding like they're speaking in certainties, they're losing their money and they're not telling you. Markets are hard to predict. And the point that I'm trying to get at is that we had a good setup, a good bias going into the end of the year, but we didn't know it was going to do this well. I just had an educated guess. That educated guess paid out big time because I'm still in and I've captured this whole move during the end of the year. S&P up 3.8% in November. Actually more than that. I don't know why that seems off. might be missing some data in it. Point is, S&P up really, really strong in November, up really, really strong in December so far. So we've stayed in on that trade and stayed true to the analysis that we did early November. Now, let me also clarify, I was also trying to catch buys over here and took some pretty good sized losses along the way. So there's your full transparent breakdown on the S&P trade. Now, on top of that, I also liked the breakout. So we'll go back to this time and I'll show you guys what was going through my head when I took this trade initially. We had this downward trend and I had paused on buying. So I think I can't remember exactly. I think I tried to buy over here. I think I tried to buy here. Both of them ended up being losses. And I was actually trading the NASDAQ at the time. So it's the same general structure, but I bought, and both of them were losers for me. Then I said, you know what, we've got this downtrend forming at the time. So after that, I was like, okay, downtrend seems to be forming. Let's wait for the breakout. And we did get the breakout. So finally, let's step forward here. I'll show you what was going on. Forward. Okay. So price breaks that. Okay. So it breaks out of this and it pulls back and I get long. So we broke out, we closed above, and I said, if it pulls back, we've got this nice break, right? Down, 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 boom, break to the upside. Finally, some bulls showed some strength and it pulled back intraday and I jumped in there and I bought. Now, I had no idea how well this trade was going to play out. But the second I bought, it was like within the first 15 minutes, it was up and it never came back. We're still in the trade to this day. So price just kept going and going and going. And so at this point, you sit there and you say, well, what do you do with a trade like this? So I had a couple days where it just shot in my favor and I started to trail stops after we put in this candle here. Price wicked back, jumped. And I said, okay, let me take some risk off. So I took my risk, which was initially under the lows. I moved it first when it shot off. I moved it just below market structure here. Then price kept going and I moved my stop up to here. So I'm trailing a stop, following price. And at this point it moves again. So I say, okay, I need another higher low. I need something to hold and then we could trail stops and we got it. Price held this area. Boom, I trailed stops again, right? So at this point we took the initial risk here, trailed it tighter. Stop was here. Stops now moved behind market structure here. So I say, okay, if it pulls back, I'm out. Take my profit. Call it a great move. At this point, it's a great move. At this point, I'm up like $10,000 plus on the account, which was a wonderful thing. Then I added to the trade on the next pullback. I can't remember if I added here or if I added at a later point. I'll have to check my other trade. I think I might have added here. So I add on this pullback and I say, okay, you know what? I like the trade. I want more of this size that I can get, and I'll be playing with my profits, right? So I basically bought a bigger position after being up a good bit. So then markets keep going. They rallied again, and now I've got a full size, max size position on the S&P, okay? And price keeps going. Now, please note, I'm not just trying to brag about this position. I'm trying to break this down and how we were able to capture this, because next year, when I might not be in this trade anymore, it's time to find another one. But these trades come so infrequently where they just work this well that it's very rare for me to have moves like this. So when they do happen, I like to kind of evaluate why did this work so well? And I trailed stops again at this point. I continued to trail and trail and trail. And it was just, to this point, has not pulled back and broken support. So again, we trail stops behind here. So now we've got a trade from all the way over here, right? Entry here, stop is all the way up here. And I've got a full size position. I've bought more size to the trade. So then it keeps going. And this is pretty much where we are at today. My stop loss is still trailed here. And I'm just holding the trade. So that's where we currently sit. hopefully that makes sense. If that was helpful to you, there's 268 of you. If you would like me to do more of those types of breakdowns, explanations behind a trade, do me a quick favor, hit the thumbs up button and type yes or 1 in the chat if you'd like me to do more of those. I do try and gauge what people want me to do on the shows based on feedback and the like button and comments and chats. So if that was helpful, if you'd like me to do more trade breakdowns, I can also break down losses as well. I think it's important to talk about losses as well. I'll do one really quick on my losses are really boring. They're like really quick and really uninteresting. Gold shot up on the open this week, and I bought it after what I thought was a good pullback. I thought this was a good discount. So again, same strategy, same general, looking for market structure, looking for pullbacks. Awesome. Thank you guys, by the way, for the feedback. Appreciate that. So price comes down on gold, and I'm saying, okay, I like this area, 2050. I'll pick it up for my first attempt long here. Now, when I took that trade, it was on stream. I think it was yesterday or the day before. I took that trade on stream, and by the end of the stream, I was like stopped out. It just kept falling right away. So my losers are typically really boring and really quick. So I lost money on this trade. I went long here, and price fell apart, did not hold the structure that I thought it would. So you let the market tell you it's time to get out. You've taken a trade and it didn't work out. And if you're early, you're wrong. So I'm still bullish on gold. And so maybe in a few days, if gold is up here, somebody might say, Nick, you should have just held your trade. No, I shouldn't have, because my structure, my plan was buy here and let the market tell you you're wrong if market structure breaks. So even if markets go up from here, my trade was wrong, because I do have to pay the price when you're trailing a stop, when you're keeping your stops tight. Guess what? Sometimes you pay for insurance and your stop gets hit and the market moves on without you. So, by the way, Chandler, I just thought we should probably clip that breakdown of the gold and S&P trade for a video. That might be a good one. Regular viewers, you might be seeing that in a video later on. If you want to watch it back, you don't obviously have to, but I think the breakdowns seem to be helpful. So I'll try and do those more frequently. TradingView's replay function is quite good. Anyways, next, now we talk, of course, the purpose of these streams is not just to break down trades, but also to talk about next setups. We've already done this once, but the idea for gold, by the way, is this. I'm looking for a secondary attempt. I'm stepping back up to the plate. I've got my bat ready to swing, and we'll see if I can strike out again, or if I can hit one, get a first base, or maybe a home run like the S&P trade. Yeah, so still watching gold. Nothing happening just yet. And this one might stay range bound until NFP, to be completely honest. NASDAQ kind of recovering. S&P hanging in there. Look at that Dow candle. That's ugly. It tried to break out. Sellers came in right there. I would like to see if this thing closes like that. I would have loved, I pointed this out, I like the idea of buying Dow on a pullback. I do actually have a Dow position. I have a Dow position. The reason you can't see it, and it is on my broker here, the reason you can't see it is because I have I've sold calls against it. I'm checking on my phone right now. Webull, TradingView is interesting. You can't see options trades on Webull on TradingView just yet. I hope that they do add that, because I would love to be able to see it's specifically on DIA. I sold calls, and these calls were terrible. So for my friends who understand options, what I did is I own DIA. I'm pulling it up on my phone here. I own DIA. You know what? I can just pull it up on let's pull up my brokerage. Hold on. It could be easier on the screen. I can pull up the Webull application. Okay. So, by the way, guys, just a quick plug. If you want to get the notifications of trades Frank, myself, and Ivan are taking, that is currently available. If you're enjoying this, if you like seeing the trades that we're taking and talking about them, if you want to get notifications for when we enter positions and why, here's how you can grab access to that. We've got a link here being dropped in the chat. Click that link. You can message us. You can message us and you can join the Discord. Okay, here's my position. DIA. Okay, so it's a little bit confusing if you're not an options person, but I'll try and explain it simply. I own 400 shares of the Dow Jones. Okay, DIA. I own them at an average price of 342. Now, by the way, you can multiply this by 100, and that will give you, like, you know, when you pull up US 30, it's like 34,283, right? DIA is just the ETF variation, and it's divided by 100 roughly. It's not perfect math, but it's close. So DIA, ETF variation of US 30. Okay, so Dow, I own 400 shares at 342. So this trade is up $7,952, which is fantastic. But what I did is I sold calls against my own position. Now, if you think about it, buying calls is really bullish, right? Most people know that if you buy calls or buy puts, that's a bullish or a bearish bet. Well, I sold calls against my existing position. So I'm essentially hedged. I sold 4 contracts, which is 400 shares of DIA. And those calls were horrible. Really, really, really bad. I sold calls against my position at a strike price of 351. So my idea here, I'm going to go to the daily chart. 351. That's right here. Okay. So 351, I sold calls there. So prices just rallied beyond where I sold calls. And that's why, despite being up almost $8,000 on my shares alone, the call that I sold is down a whopping $4,332. So overall, the position is positive, 36.40. But it's kind of hedged with the calls that I sold. If you like options, let me know. Type yes in the chat if you're interested in me talking about options more frequently. I can also talk about perhaps my most painful situation, which is my Russell position. Look at this. Abysmal. IWM is the Russell 2000. I've been bullish small caps for a while. And this is painful because I've been bullish on small caps and they rocketed from the lows. So I was kind of right. I was right, but the problem is I sold calls. Now, there's nothing wrong with selling calls. I've been writing puts and calls for a while now, and I really like that. It creates income on the portfolio. I love it. But here's the problem. Okay, problem with selling puts, selling calls is it caps your upside in some ways because I'm essentially hedged, right? I'm hedged. If price goes way up here, I can't make any more money for the most part. And if price drops like a rock, I could lose money because the position itself would go down a lot. Yeah, options. I love options. I love options. They're wonderful, but sometimes they're very frustrating because I was super right about the Russell, but my upside has been so capped by this call that I sold, which, by the way, expires in 2 days. I sold this a month ago. Anyways, that's enough options. I apologize for people who are like, Nick, I do not care one bit about options. I apologize, but it's a long stream today. Look at that, Russell. You're hurting me. Russell, you are hurting me. Look at this. Again, I'm hedged, so my position is effectively hedged. If it keeps going up, I do not make any more money, even though I own the shares. Painful. That's trading 101 though. You know, I shouldn't be complaining because I've honestly had a really good move across the indices. I traded these heavily November to now. And I shouldn't complain because the Dow and Russell calls, they work. I sold them. They have been really capping up my upside on some of these trades, but I shouldn't complain because at least I had upside, right? At least the trades were profitable. Anyways, silver coming down hard still. Gold. Christopher says, I need to learn options. Christopher, come join the VIP group. If you're not in the VIP group and you would like to learn more about options, come join us. 2-minute warning, by the way, in the news. Thank you, Chandler. Actually, it's 1 minute now. So let me set up. We've got Bank of Canada, the rate statement coming out in 1 minute, guys. Expected to be 5%. We'll see if that does come into play. Most likely will, but we'll watch markets here react to the Bank of Canada's number. Thank you for sticking around with me on the option side. I know that might have not been on topic. If you are interested in options, join our VIP. We just had the link. Thank you, Chandler, for dropping that. Join the VIP. I'm telling you, if you want to trade options alongside me, I do it on a regular basis. I love options. I love selling options. And join us, VIP, link in the chat. Okay, coming in here, 20 seconds away from Bank of Canada. I've got the dollar CAD bottom left. This is going to be probably the most impacted, but gold also has the potential to move a lot. Gold coming down here. Interesting. It's 15-minute charts all around, guys. Breaking news coming in. Okay. Bank of Canada rate statement should be coming in. You know what TradingView needs to do? TradingView needs to make the news pop up on your screen here. You could put Forex Factory right on out of business. Not actually. It's a great site. 5% came in as expected. So no serious volatility. Remember, for newer traders, I know it can be a little bit confusing. Nick, where's the spike? Why is there no spike? It's because news is only as interesting as it is surprising. We say it frequently on the show, but just a reminder to newer traders, why isn't the market blowing up one way or the other on this red folder? It's because news has to be surprising or exciting to get markets to move. That's why sometimes it moves dramatically and other times not so much. Anyways, let's evaluate what happened. We had 5% come in. That is compared to the forecast. So as expected, interest rate out of Canada. Now note, there is a rate statement as well. Any dovish commentary could be very bullish for gold. Any hawkish commentary could put pressure on gold. And of course, same thing goes for the Canadian dollar. Could have impact. Dollar pushing back up here. News is out of the way. Gold seems to be coming down now. And we'll continue to monitor that. Yaya says, do you do calls? I sell puts and calls primarily. My option strategy is very low volatility. Christopher Clyde says, I'll join the VIP group. Hey, Christopher, do me a favor. If you'd like to join us, click this link, send us a direct message. I'll show you something. If you'd like to join us, if you're serious about options trading, if you're serious about FX trading, commodities trading, there's 3 traders in our group. Ivan, who you've seen in the chat maybe, Frank, who was on with me earlier, and myself. All 3 of us are sharing our insights, sharing our moves in the markets inside of our VIP group. If you would like to join that for a significant subscriber discount, click the link that just got dropped in the chat here. And if you're watching at a later time, it'll be the first link in the description. Click chat now. VIP signals, and if you want the Edge Finder, just click there. We do have Christmas discounts available, and if you message us right now, they'll hook you up with a nice discount off of anything that you want from our store. Take advantage. Come join us. If you're somebody who's thinking about New Year's resolutions and you've hung out with me here for a while, let me just say this. I genuinely mean this when I say it. Our group offers so much value. There's so much learning potential. There's so many great people and great traders. We have a wonderful community of people. Every time I check the chat, it's like people helping each other, people going through things together, sharing charts together. Trading has an interesting community surrounding it. You get some people who are really spammy, get rich quick, scams, Lambo lifestyle. And then I think what happens is the serious people, they see that first. Everybody sees that first. And then people who actually develop a love and passion for markets, which is probably a lot of you guys who stick around and watch these shows. If you have a serious passion for trading, you find channels like ours here, my Trader Nick channel or the A1 Trading YouTube channel. You hear about companies like A1 Trading, which is my company. We build tools for traders. We offer communities to traders. This is the real side of trading. We don't get 10,000 viewers and we don't get a bajillion people watching us do crazy trading stuff. This is just real run-of-the-mill trading. And if you are interested in this stuff, I highly recommend you join our service. It is worth the money. We've got discounts on our memberships right now. If you'd like to come join us, we do coaching webinars. Ivan does small group coaching sessions where you can actually ask him questions, learn so much more than you're just going to learn wandering through YouTube. And again, there's so much fake hype stuff out there. It is dangerous. And while we do not promise you're going to get rich quick or anything like that, I can very much promise you that if you join our group, you will learn a lot and you'll be able to interact with a lot of serious, like-minded traders. So if you'd like to get access to our trade alerts when they come out, if you'd like to get access to our software, if you'd like to access, again, the tools that we're using on stream each and every day, come join us, message us. We just dropped the link. We'll drop it one more time if you don't mind, Chandler. Click that link. Join us in the group or get access to the software before the New Year's. I know a lot of people are going to be doing, my New Year's resolution is to learn to trade or improve my trading. Don't let that be you. If you have some time during the Christmas holiday or the New Year's holiday, get started now. Do not wait till the new year. That is BS. That is mental. It's like motivation. Motivation is great, but it's also kind of useless. Motivation is like, it's like a piece of candy. A piece of candy doesn't fill you up. It doesn't fulfill you. It just gives you a piece of excitement for a quick minute. That's like motivation. So don't let the whole New Year's resolution, new year, new me. Nah. Change it today. If you're serious about improving your trading, join us or join a service like ours. Take your stuff seriously. Don't mess around. There's so much nonsense out there. Take it seriously. Invest today in yourself, whether it be, I'm not necessarily saying buy our stuff. You don't have to. I'm saying take it seriously today. Spend some time back testing, etc. Just take it seriously. I'm telling you, don't start New Year's, start today. Anyways, that's going to wrap it up here today. We had a long stream. I appreciate everybody for hanging out with me and the rest of our A1 gang that showed up here on the show. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your trading day, and we'll see you on the next one. See you guys.
Thanks again for watching today's show. Our goal at A1 Trading is to continue to share free value to our audience through our daily videos and articles, keeping you up to date with the latest market coverage. If you enjoy our content, make sure to subscribe for more. And yes, I'm Santa and I work for A1 Trading. Don't ask any questions. Now, get lost because I have some presents to deliver. I'll see you all at Christmas.